Hey, Robert. My name is Stan Fitzgerald. I'm the senior political advisor with Veterans for America First. My wife, Donna Fitzgerald, is sitting in observing. Can you please tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Robert Cornicelli served 8 years in the Navy, four active, four reserve. Got out. I was a garbage man back in those days. Went to school at night after 9/11. Started training up again to come back in. Went back in the Army National Guard as an officer. I was fortunate enough for my last 4 years to work for General Flynn in the DIA. I served as a staff officer for about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, and then I became the executive officer to the director of operations, and actually did some pretty amazing projects for General Flynn to make the DIA a home for disabled veterans who were transitioning out. Back then there was sequestration, so if you were in the Wounded Warrior program within the military and you were transitioning out or thinking about staying, but I was an infantry officer, you couldn't really perform that task. Uh, Different agencies would take you on, but during
Right.
sequestration, anything that wasn't DOD was locked down. So anything that wasn't DOD was locked down. But since DIA fell into DOD, we wanted to bring every single wounded veteran or wounded service member to DIA. So it was a amazing experience.
Yes, sir. It certainly sounds like it. Can you tell us a little bit about your position you're running for in Congress and your competitors?
So right now I'm running for Congress in the second congressional district of New York. Our competitors, I don't really want to speak ill of other people, but they're not my problem with the congressman who's sitting in office right now is they don't do anything on the outside. Like, I was in the military, great. Everyone claps when they say you're a veteran or you're a retiree, but I got paid for that. I was a public
Right.
servant for 30 years. I got paid for that. What do you do for your community on the outside that your experiences in the military enhance and make you very special at caring for people in the IDD, the intellectually and developmentally disabled communities, or veterans? Like this morning, I was telling you earlier, I have a 501c3. No holiday goes by without us raising $4,000 or $5,000 so Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Super Bowl, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Passover, Memorial Day. No homeless veteran, no veteran with substance dependency on Long Island goes without a holiday dinner. If we're going to have dinner with family, they're having it. If they're transitioning out of shelters back into the community and their cars have been sitting for a year or two, we'll have them towed to a service station, repair them, get the dents knocked out, make them look serviceable. They don't want to come out of a shelter and come back to some, dump box that you've been putting around in that. So,
It's all good stuff. Basically, I'm asking, do you have any primary
yes,
challenges as well?
yes, I'm running against Andrew Garbarino in New York's second congressional district. A person I just feel he was chosen. His father's the Republican leader of Islip. And if you know anything about Long Island, it's very political. Not often do the best candidates get chosen. The ones who have connections to the chair people, they're the ones who get chosen. And people pouring across our borders. I don't have to go through everything that's wrong with this country right now, all the problems we're facing. Them. They're doing nothing about it. And I think it was about Memorial Day last year. I just had it. I couldn't raise enough money for Memorial Day dinners. I was having a bad day. I knew Lee Zeldin was declaring he was going to run for governor. I'm like, you know what? Damn this man. I'm tired of begging people for resources for people in like who have autism or veterans. I'm running, and then I'll just bring them back. My problem with our local Congress people, they don't do the necessary things to bring resources to our community and people. Long Island's a hard place to grow up on. It's nice, but
Well,
the taxes are incredible.
we're from Jersey originally, so we're just in
So
Jersey.
know,
Yeah, we're familiar. So just so you know, this is just going to the board. It's not ever going to be public, these portions of the interview. So my specific question, I just want to make sure I have this right. In New York too, the incumbent is a guy who was basically voting against Trump, right? I mean, wasn't there some issues in New York too? where the president said, if a good candidate runs against him, I'll endorse him. Do I have the right district?
Yes, he did say that. He not only did he vote for January 6th committee, if you go to his webpage, you'll see how he blames President Trump for the insurrection. I mean, he calls people who are just standing there insurrectionists. Now, he's not doing anything about the rally goers there. Listen, they were stupid. They should have never went in there. They should pay the penalty, but going to jail and being incarcerated without due process, that's a sin when you look at our Constitution. But forget that. He traveled to Scotland with Nancy Pelosi's climate change committee. You talk about HR 8, talk about the infrastructure bill on Long Island. I had a battle with the union guys the other day. Oh, Andrew signed the infrastructure bill. I said, well, you get 14% of 1.2 trillion for roads. You're Jersey. You see the potholes we have? Nothing, nothing comes back to our towns.
So actually, some of the other questions I was going to ask you, you kind of covered them in your answers. So just go ahead and tell us your thoughts on President Trump, and just clarify that you don't, as far as other primary candidates, are there any other military or first responders that are running against the incumbent in your district?
Yes, there is a guy, Mike Rakebrandt.
Okay.
We've had a couple of discussions with him. I can't even tell you how. I was originally running in the first. The lines have changed here 3 times before.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, they changed 4 times, but at a certain point, I was in the second. I was considering running against Garbarino. Rakebrandt and I met, and I can show you 10 text messages between us where we were going to switch, where he felt I was the best candidate to take out Garbarino. I had been established for 6 months. My community service is impeccable. You will, if you go to my,
I did. Yeah, I did.
And he knew I could beat him. And he's a detective in New York, and he served 8 or 10 years, but his community service is 0. And we discussed that, and we shook hands, and he sent text messages saying that you're the guy to win. Then I believe the establishment got to him. They put a committee person on his team, and he changed his mind after I had registered. So I said, I'm going against Garbarino. You have 0 community service, and it's not going to beat the establishment. So
no, you're fine.
You got a great paid career, but what do you do outside?
And again, you covered what I was going to ask you about the opponent and why you're the better candidate. So I think that's really all we need to do to get this to the board to vote. I don't have any other specific questions. Donna, is there anything you have? No? Okay, so for this, would you mind if we just go over the oath of office for the, that you're very familiar with? And then that portion we might like to use of you reaffirming your oath.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll read it to you, and if you could just state your name. I state your name, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the oh, I'm sorry, my wife.
Robert Cornicelli.
I'm sorry, my wife just reminded me, and I made a mistake. Could you please raise your right hand so we could see it? Sorry. Thank you so much. Okay, I state your name, do solemnly
I,
swear
Robert Cornicelli, do solemnly swear to support the Constitution
of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I can't raise it too high because I had shoulder surgery.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Go ahead, put it down. Let's make an exception.
No, that's all right. I'll prop it up here.
Sorry about that. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
I take this, say it again. Oh, I'm still
No, it's okay. And your arm is screwing you up. I apologize. I didn't know that ahead of time. Let's just skip to the end where I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
Discharge the duties of the office which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Yeah, I apologize for that. If I knew your arm, put your arm down. I'm so sorry. If I knew that ahead of time, I would have.
That's okay. And I wanted to do it right.
All right, brother. But that's really all we need to get this over for a vote. And Chairman Vlad Lemets, we'll get back to you after it goes to the vote this week. I guess it'll take a couple days. and I appreciate your time. And we'll be
May
in
I say
touch.
one thing?
Sure.
I'd appreciate it, and I say this to a lot of the people that I meet, I had dinner with Giuliani the other day, and Trump and General Flynn endorsed me, but I ask everyone, please just Google me, look at the things that I've done in my community. I believe it's time we start getting people into these positions who they've put their, instead of having a job and then going to a second job and increasing their personal wealth, how about dealing with how hard it is to live here, and that time you would be increasing your personal wealth? How about giving half that time to helping people who have no personal wealth? I really ask people, look at what I've done and understand that I've always done things that where there's like zero personal gain, and it means a lot to me that people understand. It's the only reason I'm doing this. And one more thing, and I'm sorry, I can
Go
retire.
ahead.
I could retire from the town of Oyster Bay when I win if I wanted to. My wife and I draft up papers, and our lawyers have them, and it's all signed. My entire retirement, not my army, that's cheaper, that's less, but
Right.
it should be like 80 grand, 85 grand. The entire thing is donated to veterans. Three things: veterans, children, pediatric cancer research, and autism. We're not going to make money on this endeavor. So I'll have the retirement later on, but while I'm in Congress, there will be zero personal gain. And that means a lot to me, because they can't hold a bag of money in front of me. It's not gonna work.
Means a lot to us as well, and as I'm sure it will your constituents. That's very admirable, and thank you for all you're doing.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay, Robert, we'll be in touch. Thank you, sir.
Have a great day.
Best of luck.
You too.
Video.